Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the King of Braves, the Gaogaigar, and here he is. We have the Gao machines here, and we have Galleon right here. So I'm gonna move the Gao machines off to the side, and we'll look at Galleon first, and then we'll look at the Gao machines. So here is Galleon, the lion, and you can kind of see how he's gonna transform. Kind of sort of see, but really like the head sculpt of it. The mouth can open. It kind of just like snaps open, so I don't typically do that. Has the nice green eyes with the chrome. Looks really nice, and this nice metallic paint. And then it has a little yellow tail. Has these stickers right there. And that's kind of really it for Galleon. Has these little details right there on the shoulders, but that's really it. The claws, like so, like that, and that's really it. And you get the basic articulation in the robot mode, so I'm not gonna go over it because it's basically the same. So gonna set him off to the side, and we'll look at Stealth Gao next. So obviously it's probably inspired off of like a B-52 bomber or some other bomber with this same shape. And I love the red cockpit. I think it is plastic. Yeah, it's plastic, and that looks super nice. All the detailing. These stickers look nice. These stickers at the very end you just saw me push down because even though mine isn't in very, very, very nice condition, these stickers just do not want to stay down just because they're old. And then you come back here and you can kind of see how it's going to work. See these thrusters, or turbines, I should say, and these big pieces and what is going to become the head of the Gaogaigar. These intake pieces, I would say. But, yeah, if you don't look at the bottom, it looks pretty cool, and even including the bottom, it still looks okay. And with these sticking out at the bottom, it can at least stand like that. So now we'll look at Drill Gao, and these can rotate and spin the drills, and those are done in a nice gold chrome. Nothing for these like cockpits. There's no painted detailing, but has wheels so it can roll. But we can see have these pieces back here. You can see that these are going to become the feet, but that's okay. And now we'll look at Liner Gao, and just standard sort of bullet train. Has to be a train and a drill tank in the Brave series. So these stickers, the edges of these stickers do peel up on mine just because, once again, this is an old toy. But yeah, I like the colors, but I like the colors. Reminds me of like Rail Racer, not Rail Racer, but like Rail Spike and the I can't remember their name, but the train team from RID 2001, just the nice sky blue with the gray. But other than that, Liner Gao doesn't really do too much. The Gao machines really don't do too much other than work with the combination, but I still like it. Like, still, it's just a train. So let's get on to transforming a Galleon. So it's just very, very basic. I kind of associate it with Leo Breaker from Transformers Cybertron. Just very, very simple, or even Cheetor, but less involved. Just you straighten out the front legs, and then you push that, just swing that around. And this shoulder was not really engaging. The ratchet piece that floats in and out in here, that there's a spring in here, and then there's a floating ratchet piece that creates pressure against the arm, and that was too tight and the spring didn't have enough pressure, so I had a spring big enough so this one is a nice, good ratchet, when this one is a bit stiffer because of that extra spring, just so it could have that click. Without that other spring, it would move, and it wasn't like the ratchet just couldn't engage because the spring wasn't strong enough to push that piece into the other ratcheting teeth. So that's why this one's louder than this one. But there was no damage or anything in there, just the tolerances weren't correct. But I just wanted to say that. And now you just straighten out the legs, straighten out the foot, like that. And we'll flip this up, open that up, and close that up. And the stamp will be in here. I don't think you'll be able to pick it up, but the stamp is on the inside of these skirt pieces. So that's where the stamp will be if you're looking for it. I don't know if there's a Sonokong version of Gaogaigar. I just know that there's the Takara version. That's all I know. And we'll flip this mane down. I always have to get a tool to get it out because there's not really a lot of room to get that. But we'll spin the arms around like so. Flip the head up. Spin it around, drop it, and then I just like to open the arm up and then do that. So there is Gaigar, and yeah, it's basically the same thing. Just like a lot of beast formers like this, like Leo Breaker, Cheetor, the legs of the tiger or lion or cheetah or whatever are very similar, if not the exact same as the robot mode. The hands are identical as the legs, just he has hands instead of the claws, which are on his back. The face, or the chest I should say, is the lion, obviously. And his head is just a pretty standard head. Little pink eyes with this G-stone in it. And just a simple white robot. Kind of sort of like all the other Brave toys, just more basic. He's definitely the biggest, I think. The biggest base robot. But he doesn't really have more of a body. His base body contributes a bit more to the combination a little bit. Like size-wise. But articulation, his head can turn, but it's kind of stiff. The arms obviously can rotate, and if you want to use this as a butterfly joint, you can. You get a bicep swivel, and you get the elbow, but it's this weird ratchet, and I'm not going to mess with it. Legs can kick forward. I think they can kick back. Yes, they can kick back. They can go out. There's no thigh swivel, and you get a weird, very low knee. You can tilt the foot forward, and I think you can tilt back. Yeah, you can tilt back, and there's a toe if you need it. So yeah, Gaigar alone is an okay toy. But he's just okay. He is maybe a little bland, I would say. Like, he doesn't have, like, X-Kaiser, at least he has somewhat of a different and interesting transformation from, like, a car bot from the Transformers. He really doesn't do anything too special. Obviously, at his time, he probably did. But comparing him to, like, Leo Breaker from Cybertron, he doesn't do too much good. Like, not good, it's all good, but interesting. If you've experienced that toy, this toy basically does things very, very, very similar. So he can interact with this. I don't know how you do it, but you can put the Stealth Gao on his back, and then you can put the Drill Gao on his hands, and he can, I don't know what the mode's called, I forget, but we're not going to worry about that. All I want to do is do the Gaogaigar. his main form. So we'll bring in all of the Gao machines, and we're gonna prep the Gaogaigar. So we'll close up his feet. We'll flip up his arms and spin this around. I typically forget, and I just flip that up so we can flip out the skirts like so. And now we can bring these all the way back like that. And now he's ready. I'll just set him down. Liner Gao, we don't have to do anything to him right now. Drill Gao, we just have to flip out the feet and the heels. And then I kind of just shift these a little bit to get them to click and slide. And when they click, you know they're right. And then you pull them apart like that. And we'll basically leave Stealth Gao like he is now. So for Drill Gao, we'll just insert them and they'll click. You can hear the spring detent like that. And now Liner Gao, I guess if you want to, you could have the screws facing forward, but because it doesn't matter, but I'm gonna just have the plain side forward and bend it like that. And now we'll spin this around, and now we'll flip out the helmet, and there are these two big clips that will go over these pieces, and just like so, we'll do that. And now we'll come to Liner Gao, and we'll come up here and we'll bring out the arm, or this arm connector. And if you don't like doing it like this, like the show way, you can just slide these off from the back. Like, I'll do it on one side. You can just slide them off, except that's going to get in the way. But you can just slide them off and then put them on regularly. But I'm going to do it the way the show wants us to, and just slide it up simultaneously. Oh wait, no, you don't do that yet. You have to bring these down and swing out the sides of the crest, and now you can do that, because that's where the sort of order of operations kind of gets screwed up, especially when you're taking him apart. You can't, obviously you have to put these arms back up into Liner Gao, but you can't drop down Liner Gao and pull him out before moving the head crest back, or the side crest back. It's just a little weird, but now we can drop down the helmet and make the Gaogaigar. And here he is, and I love this guy. I don't know, something about him being thinner, better proportioned. I like this version, even though he's very accurate. I like him better than the show model. In my personal opinion, I like this more for some reason. But I really, really, really like this toy. The transformation and the combination is very fluid, very fun and intuitive. And I really, really like it. Is it better than King X Kaiser and Dragon Kaiser? I don't know. I really like this guy. He has a lot of articulation, which I'll go over, but he has a very cool design. He is much easier to come by. And for a better price than King X Kaiser. I see him range from about $150 to $200, when King X Kaiser and obviously Dragon Kaiser I see more around $200 to $300, but you can find them $180-ish. But this guy, he is much more affordable, much easier to get your hands on, and if you want to, you can go in for the two final versions, the Gaogaigar, I think that's called. The one with like the spaceship instead of galleon, the Soul Shigoken version of that, and all the different model kit versions. Like there's a real grade. You can get the Soul Shigoken version like this, the one with the Liner Gao, the Stealth Gao, Gaigar, and Drill Gao. Or you can get the genetics version, or genetic, something like that, the one with the hair, and the very final version. I don't really know how to say it. I think there's a Soul Shigoken version of that, but anything like this, he's a very cool design, but I am a fan of this original toy. I just love its simplicity and everything about it. So he does have some articulation. He has nothing in the head, unfortunately. His arms, I like to grab it by here. Just, you can move it by the arm like it doesn't feel like it's going to break, but more when you go to return it, there's just barely enough clearance to make that ratchet click over. So I just like to spin it by the actual train, or shoulder, I should say. And if the wings weren't in the way, he could do a full 360. And obviously, they can go out due to transformation, and it could go a little in, but the crest is gonna get in our way. There's no swivel, and he can get an elbow. And because these are octagonal, or hexagonal, I should say, not octagonal, or I think, yeah, hexagonal. You can swing and turn the wrist whichever way you want. So that's cool. I do like that. So I do like that as a feature. Obviously, the mouth on the chest can open and close. The legs are the exact same, but because this crest is here, skirt is here, you get less mobility. Like, you can't use the outward movement unless you close up that side of the skirt and then utilize it, and now it's messing with that. And no knee, because it's so low, you don't get a knee. But overall, he has very nice articulation, and you can definitely see where, like, the influence at the time of, like, the Beast Wars in the Transformers, like, standard articulation, like the laser rods from G2 and the Beast Wars toys were definitely starting to influence this toy and this era of toys in the Brave series, because Hiryu, Enyu, the Gaogaigar, they all have a lot more articulation than the other toys. Like, comparing the Dagwon toys to the Gaogaigar toys, the Gaogaigar toys have much more articulation than the Dagwon toys, and you can definitely see that influence of the time of Beast Wars really ramping up and becoming a bigger thing in Japan, and their standard articulation influencing this toy. And you can definitely see that, especially comparing it to what King X Kaiser was doing in 1990, and 8 years later, this toy now has a lot of articulation when King X Kaiser only had an elbow. And I just think that is very neat and very cool. So he does have a couple of weapons. So obviously, if you know, he has his Protector Shade, which is just him putting up this hand. And then he has his Broken Magnum, which you can, which is shooting off this fist, which is just a rocket punch. And you can do that. You can disconnect it due to transformation, and he can spin it and stuff. I do not have Goldie Marg to make the Goldie on a hammer, unfortunately, and I don't think he has enough articulation to do the Heaven and Hell finisher move, but we do have the Dividing Driver, which really isn't a weapon, it's a tool. If you haven't seen the Gaogaigar, and it's just simple, you just open that, and then that will go into his hand, like that. I do wish this was at least silver, not yellow. I don't really care if these pistons weren't painted or anything, but I wish that was in like a gray plastic instead of a yellow plastic, in my personal opinion. But he can do whatever with it. He's got enough articulation to do something with it, but I don't really use it because I just like him standing like that. But the dividing driver is used to make artificial battlegrounds in the ground. So like they stab it in the ground and it opens up a big void. So they're not destroying anything, and it doesn't destroy nearby cities. It like shifts them into another dimension or compresses them. Like it doesn't destroy anything. So it's hardly a weapon. It's just a tool. So that is one thing I wish the Gaogaigar had, is more actual weapons. Like, every single toy in the Brave series and even the Transformers, they have some sort of weapon that they have. This guy really doesn't. He just fights with his hands, which is still cool, but and him using the rocket punch a lot, I do really like. It's super cool, but I wish he had like a sword or a gun or, something to offset this being more of a tool rather than a weapon. It does look like a weapon, but if you know the context of it, it's really not, unfortunately. But that's okay. This toy is plenty fine on its own. I really, really like it. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing toy. I really, really like it. It's super fun, super cool. Has every element that you want. And this toy, I would say, really breaks the mold from the Transformers. Just having this more weird, more, I would say, Super Sentai style combination of having multiple machines rather than two transforming things and a guy that makes up a core or something. Sort of like, like a machine that makes up for a super mode. This is definitely more of a Super Sentai thing, like a core robot that has a bunch of different machines that mesh together. The fact that Gaigar really is the only thing that is really a character when the Gao machines are just machines. And I wish the Gao machines interact a bit more, but I still really like it. That definitely helps the combination more. The fact that they don't have to do a bunch of things helps their combination be very fluid, very fun, and have a very sturdy and solid transformation. So I don't really have a problem with it, but it's definitely different. It's a definitely different toy compared to the rest of the Brave series, style-wise, looks-wise, and transformation-wise, at least main characters. But there's no problem with that. I don't have a problem with that because he's still an amazing, amazing toy, figure, whatever you want to say. I just really, really like it. And this guy I can recommend because he's a whole lot easier to find and to get. So I do recommend this guy, recommend the Gaogaigar or any other style of him, the real grade, the Soul Chigoken of any of the three versions, and probably there's a other model kit of it somewhere. But I really recommend this one. I have a lot of fun with him. I feel like I don't own the Soul Chigoken of any of them, but I feel like they tried to put in a little bit too much articulation. I wish he could. Oh, I think he can. No, he can't pull up a waist swivel. If he had a knee, I think he would be completely fine. But if you want more articulation, you probably want to lean more to the Soul Chigoken. But I would say if you want solidity out of him, obviously I don't own them, but just maybe assuming, I would still stick with this guy. But that's just my opinion, and that's what I have to say. So, till next time, see ya.